To understand the Mendelssohn and Mull Festival, you have to understand that it isn't entirely Mendelssohn, it isn't really entirely Mull, and it isn't really a festival.
I was in Craik last night. The front row of the could very nearly touch the cellist. I mean, it was you're as close as that. Therefore, you're very involved with the musicians. Not only you involve them when they're producing music, you have the opportunity to become involved with them as people and find out what makes them tick, if you like, what their aspirations are.
Personally, I've made so many friends through Mendelssohn and Mull.
I can't tell you what the festival represented to me without giving away an awful lot of my own history.
It's been fantastic. We were just thrown together in groups of people we've never met before, so it's been really intense. You're working at such a fast pace in rehearsal. You have to listen all the time. You have to be constantly aware of everyone else in the group.
I mean, all our friends are in the same club. It's not an exclusive club, I mean it's a very welcoming club. At the same time, the more involved you are, the more you feel that you're part of a family almost. I'm Marilyn Jeffcoat. I have the great pleasure of being the chairman of the Mendelssohn and Mull Trust, and I've been involved with it since its beginning. Leonard had been working with young people in conservatoires and colleges, and was a bit concerned that although technically they were absolutely spot on, that it was almost, I mean in the jazz world you'd say that they lacked soul because they'd got nothing informing what they were doing. He was afraid that they were losing track of nature, and this was a good way of getting them to see the sea and the sky and to gain from that.
Oh, the scenery, there can't be anywhere like it in the world. It is stunning.
It's beautiful and it's amazing to get, especially for those of us studying in big cities like London or Glasgow or wherever. It's amazing to just get out and feel the space and not have the pressure of the everyday tear and wear of a big city like that. And it really does give you the space to focus solely on what you really have to do and really want to do.
It's always a new experience. It's always a steep learning curve right at the start where you've got to get together programmes with little time, and you think you get used to it, but you find yourself having to really work hard.
At the beginning of the week, the young professionals, who are usually around 14 to 15 players, get split into 3 groups, and the mentors, who are 5 very senior, well-recognised international musicians, will split themselves also between those 3 groups. They'll rehearse intensively for 2 days, and then they'll begin from the Monday of the festival to go around the island touring, taking their concert to each of the local venues and each of the local communities. All the concerts are free.
When they come, they can bring their children, they can come, and it's a free concert. That makes it very, very egalitarian. It makes it a wonderful opportunity that if you happen to be walking down the street and you see that there's a concert on, you can go there. The other aspect, as far as the young players are concerned, are invited totally at no expense and no cost to themselves. Everything is laid on, and really, I can't stress enough, the players are wonderful young players. They're people who are heading right to the top of their profession. Everything is provided in a very generous and very caring way.
There's very few festivals that you're actually invited to come along and play and all your expenses are paid. That is just fantastic, and to get the opportunity to play with such wonderful musicians is just amazing, and I know for a fact that's helped so many people on their way.
The music quality is as good as you will hear in many concert halls in this country, because the quality of the musicians that are performing is exceptional.
The established performers are really very well-known names, people like Marcia Crayford and Gabby Lester and Susie Mazaros. And then of course the Chilingirian Quartet. It is an international festival. Young musicians come from all over the world. Some potential funders have said to us, but wait a minute, why aren't you just funding Scottish students to come? Well, wait a minute, in a way, there wouldn't be that many people in Scotland who have the level that we're talking about. I'm not being rude about that. Just look at Andy Murray. No one says Andy Murray can only play with fellow Scots. He really needs to be playing with world-class players to see how good he is. And that's very much what we feel about our festival.
The special aspect of what we're trying to do, which is mixing the mentors, is actually something that hardly ever happens at music college. The playing of music with the older and the younger doesn't exist as a norm in conservatories.
Is one of our favourite venues. Iona has got a spiritual feel to it. It's a very contemplative place. There are people who end up in tears. They have been emotionally touched by the experience. It's one of the venues that people do not want to miss. Equally, they don't want to miss being at Duet Castle, which is a spectacular setting. You look out over the bay.
One of the great pleasures of being involved in the festival is to actually see the development of young people, both collectively and individually, in the course of the week.
When they first are in this situation, some of the young ones are almost sort of terrified. You've got to put on a performance, and you've got to put on a performance with people you've just met, like the day before.
It shows you what your weaknesses and strengths are very clearly.
You're forced to produce a high quality contribution to the group immediately.
Probably the biggest thing which has improved in my playing since I've arrived is listening. You have to listen all the time.
One of the things we do is test their vocation.
One in particular is a very talented young man who decided that he was going to read for a mathematics degree, and he's an excellent violinist, but he really put that on the back burner. The great atmosphere here brought out something. He had to think, can I spend the rest of my life without playing the violin seriously? And he decided that no, he wanted to do that.
We were in Craig Church yesterday, which was tiny, but it was really sweet. And I don't know, all the venues have been really different, which actually helped in itself, because we had to learn to adjust to the different sound acoustics and the different spacing from the audience. When we're in Glengorm Castle, the audience were literally nearly on our laps, and overall they're lovely little venues, and they're always full, which is lovely as well.
Part of what's special about Mendelssohn and Mull is the extent to which the audience is actually part of the festival. They feel like part of it. They come every year.
The musicians themselves say to us that they can feel the audience with them.
The audience have been the nicest audience I've ever played to. They're so appreciative. They just come to enjoy, and they're so grateful to us, and in return we're so grateful to them. It's lovely.
We've had people who've come up to cover the festival as journalists, to observe the festival as interested parties. And they've either become trustees of the festival, or it has rejuvenated their love for music, because it's so raw here. We're away from the prepared and the sort of cliched musical life that you would get in a big centre.
A lot of people come along to watch the rehearsals, to learn a great deal about music making and how, at that level, a word, will make all the difference. We were once asked by the Arts Council to have audience participation, because this was a buzzword at the time. And I said, well, what do you mean by audience participation? We can't really have them playing tambourines along with a Mozart quartet. And I realised then that, in a way, the audience participation is partly about them actively listening.
Watch that development over the week and the quality of the music improve, and even I can hear it. It's not rocket science, that, and that's, I think, what's so wonderful to actually sit here and see the young people do.
That is what I think is audience participation, where the audience is actually bringing something to the whole experience and to themselves. It's audience development, really, more than anything else, that we're achieving. In many cases, it's the emotional content which they get. It's the fact that it moves them.
Outsiders have become insiders because they've seen how special the atmosphere is and how special the effect is on everybody that's involved.
I think people keep coming back because it's so welcoming. The more involved you are, the more you feel that you're part of a family almost.
One of the things I've enjoyed the most is the people, and not just the musicians and not just learning from them, but everyone who's here is lovely, and it's been such a pleasure to work and socialise and just be around everyone. It's been absolutely lovely.
It's a really unique experience, and for me it's been so important.
Anybody who gets involved will be, I hope anyways, swept away by the unique atmosphere and the enthusiasm for the aims of the festival.
This year is our 25th anniversary, and there aren't many small charities like ours which have been quite as long-lived as that, and so we're very proud that it has not only survived, but has thrived over the last 25 years and is as good now, not even better than when we started. The festival's never had any government funding. It is not state subsidised in any way.
A membership of Mendelssohn and Mull starts from £25 a year for silver membership up to £70 for gold membership. For those who are really taken with the festival and really want to help out and secure our long-term future, we also have something called the Guardians. And the Guardians of Mendelssohn and Mull provide £1,000 a year to give us the security we need to back the festival.
Rather than music being something out there, you suddenly realise music is something that is something that I can access very, very easily. And yes, it has required a bit of attention, but it's been worth it.